So here we go with Acropolis. Where does this game fit into your collection? And where does it look when you look at similar games that carry similar mechanics? Watch the video to find out more.
Ludus, Vulpes.
Welcome to Ludus Vulpes. My name's Kirsty, and today we're here to discuss Akropolis. Akropolis is created by Gigamic. The designer is Jules Messaud and the artist is Pauline Detraz. The key mechanics in the game are tile drafting and tile placement. Similar games of a similar price are Cascadia, Azul, Project L, Baron Park, King Domino and Patchwork.
I do. Thank you, Kirsty. And in Acropolis, you are building the greatest city you possibly can, and you're doing that by laying tiles and taking those tiles from an open drafting area. So over the course of the game, which is going to last between 20 and 30 minutes, so this is a fairly pacey game, over the course of the game, you're going to build up your tile, and we'll do a little demo over here in a moment. We'll build up your tiles until your city is complete, and then we'll do some points scoring. The game plays for 2 to 4 players and is fantastic at all player counts, with Gigamic providing different tile volumes for different player counts. So you've always got a similar length game no matter how many people are playing. So let's talk a little bit about how the game plays. At the start of the game, you're going to take your starting tile and place it in your area. Then you're also going to be taking a group of tiles and you're going to lay them across the center marketplace of the board. Then you're going to be creating small replacement stacks of tiles that are the number of players plus 1 typically. And you're going to create many of those, and they're going to be your replacement stacks for when the tiles in the marketplace get down to just 1 tile. Each player is then going to be given a number of stone depending on whether they're first, second, third or fourth player, and the game then begins. And what you're going to be doing in this game is you're going to be drafting a tile, and the marketplace will have a 0 cost tile. Or if you want to go further down the marketplace, you're going to be adding a stone to each preceding tile and take the tile that's left, the next tile that's available to yourself. That stone doesn't get passed on to the other players, that gets put back into the general resource, and you then take the tile and place it somewhere within your city, initially starting by connecting it to that starting tile in such a way that it connects a couple of faces. The interesting thing about the game is once you've started to grow your city, you'll then be able to place a tile higher up. This is how you're going to get additional stone, because if you place your tile covering a stonemason tile, you'll get 1 stone for each stonemason tile you cover. So if you cover up to 3, you're going to get 3 stone, and that's going to allow you a greater flexibility during the game. Each of those stones will also be worth 1 victory point at the end of the game. Now, as you progress, you're going to be placing different coloured tiles and aiming for different results to score you points at the end of the game. So, for example, the market traders, they're the yellow tiles. They don't like any other market traders next door. So you're going to be putting out, these are called districts, but you're also going to be putting out plazas. So the market trader plaza will have a number of stars on it. It's yellow background with stars, and those stars are going to multiply your scoring yellow district tiles at the end of the game. They'll also score for how high they are in your structure. So if they're on level, on the ground level, it's just multiplied by 1. If they're on 1 level up, that's worth 2 points multiplied by the number of stars you've got in your plazas. The player reference is fantastic, really useful, and will take you through how each of those districts and plazas will score. As soon as you get down to 1 tile left in the market, you pick a tile set to replace it. The tile moves into the 0 slot and you put the next set of tiles out. And that will get you through a game of Acropolis.
Let's not forget that without you, we couldn't create this content. So please, please, please hit that thumbs up button if you're liking this video.
Give us a like, give us a subscribe. We really appreciate it.
Now, let's get on with the rest of the video.
Yeah.
Do you want to be talk? We have no stones, so we have to take literally what's out and available. So I'll now get 3 stones there, which is rather nice.
Yeah, I'll do the same. Guess that just makes sense. 1, 2, 3. Escapey stone.
I will go for this one here, I think.
Okay, so we only have 1 tile left now in the marketplace, so it moves down. We pick another stack and we reveal them in order. Da-da-da. And then we make a decision on which one we want. And actually I have some stone now, so I can at least...
skip 1 or 2 if needs be.
Yeah.
So 60, 84, 94, 104, 124 plus 8 is 152. 152 plus 36 is...
152, 158, 188 plus 7.
Yep.
95, I believe.
Okay, so 60, 70 plus 80 is 150. So,
Yeah, there you
I'm
go.
not sure I got those maths right though.
I think...
You might want to check that.
Yeah, yours is right. I did check as we went. So that's 60, 70, 70 plus 80 is 150. Yep, that is correct.
Oh.
So Kirsty wins, and Kirsty wins by scoring big a couple of times on the blue plazas, which were superb, and I just dropped off on too many to do well. So that is the scoring.
That's how
That is how it works. Let's talk about the game.
So there you have the exciting last few rounds of Acropolis, and then the easy way it scores. So what massively helps anyone learning this game are these fantastic little player aids. All you need to do is match the colours. It teaches you the different ways, what you need, like the grouping with the blue that you saw, the fact that the orange/reds need to be at the edges and not fully surrounded. Bear in mind that that does mean it can be completely surrounded except on one side, which is quite useful.
Yeah.
The purples have to be surrounded. The greens you just score for having it in your garden and obviously, well, in your city. And the yellows, they don't like to be near each other. It's just obvious. Trade rules. But it's so simple to pick up, and this is one of the reasons why. We've played with fairly new gamers.
Very inexperienced
gamers. And they have got it from the first playthrough. And there are games that we've played, such as, I don't know, like Ticket to Ride and, Cascadia, and they found those more challenging than this on the first play. So I think that speaks volumes to me. If I can find someone who completely has no idea what they're doing, and by the end of the game they've completely got it. They might not have scored very high, but they've got it. That's a win for me.
Yeah, I agree. I think Acropolis plays almost too smoothly sometimes. Like you'll be taking a tile as the other person's still laying a tile, and but it gives you an indication of the pace of the game, and you'll have you tend to have a couple of stoppy moments where you go, oh, I need to figure out exactly how I'm doing this.
Especially as it gets towards the very end, like that then where I was like, do I pick up a yellow and try score higher, or take the blue because I've got a fairly large number of blues? And that's why I took that little quick calculation. No, blue's better. Yeah,
and I think for me this game sits in a really nice slot. So we talked about some games that, from a mechanical point of view, sit alongside it. So anything with sort of tile placement and open drafting, things like Azul, Cascadia, they all sit in a similar vein, and they're all similar weighted as well. They're all fairly light games. Acropolis, I will say it right one day, gives you a slight advantage, I think, over those games in that you do have some really thinky moments, even though you're playing a fairly lightweight game. There's a bit more depth to it, and the one thing it never does is stay at the table too long.
No.
20 minutes to half an hour is
proper max.
Yeah, and it's a genuine playtime. Like, there aren't many games that you can get through in that kind of pace where you've had a good sort of, head-scratchy moment, but you've also allow people who are new to board gaming to come in and actually understand quickly and play at that pace as well. There aren't many games that do that, and Acropolis does it superbly well at all player counts.
Yeah, so that's one thing I was going to say is that this game works perfectly at 2 players, 3 players, 4 players. There is no real change to play. Like occasionally in a 2-player, depending on who you're playing with, it can get a bit, right, I know I'm not going to score those, but I'm going to stop, my opposing player score it. But you don't have to play that way. We didn't just then.
No.
Well, I wasn't.
I wasn't. Desperately trying to scrape some points together.
Yeah, it's a quick enough game and a fun and lightweight enough game that you actually just want to see what the highest score that you can get is. Yeah. It's not about taking points from the other person. Another thing I really enjoy about this game is the simplicity of the artwork.
Yeah,
if you're colourblind, all the different plazas do look different. So the oranges are clearly like the barracks. Obviously, the yellow is the market stalls. The houses are clearly, houses being lived in. The green gardens, obviously, they're not green, but all the artwork is individual. So it's simplistic, but very clear and easy to play.
Yeah, simplistic but clean, and that actually helps the game play with pace as well. So it works really well. If I have a criticism for this game, it is like multiplayer solitaire a lot of the time. We talked about blocking. We've talked about using the market section of the board to block, and that's something you can do and probably will do. But a lot of the time, you're much more focused on what you are doing than what other players are doing, and it can feel like you're just doing your own thing. Now, there's pros and cons to that. Some people don't like that. Some people like more interaction. And if you like a lot of interaction with other players, this is not the game for you. No. However, if you like the pace of the game and the thinkiness of the game based on the weight, then this game is a really great game to add to your collection, I think.
I also feel that in the scoring mechanism whereby the points build is quite different to the other games that we mentioned that's in a similar price bracket. The fact that you can go higher to build the points is quite a nice little addition. Yeah,
you'll find yourself in your games deciding early on whether you want to try. I went to try and get as high as I could on one stack. Which did or did not work. I don't know. I lost, so it probably didn't work. But you'll find yourself going, oh, do you know what? I'm going to try and build high today, or I'm going to try and build wide today. And you'll just, you'll follow the patterns, I guess, and create the districts and plazas that you want to see on your board. And it's a fascinating little game, and I think the quality of the components is superb.
It is, yeah. I remember when we first picked this game up from UK Games Expo, and there were only 100 copies available. We grabbed it, picked it up, and Phil said, "Oh, do you want to pop that game? Like punch the game?" And I opened the box, and it was all pre-punched and ready to go. Like that is it's just little nice little touch. The interior of the box, if I just quickly step off camera.
How unprofessional.
The interior of the box is fantastic. It's so well laid out and thought out. Each of the sections, let's try and get this on camera, will hold like the stones there. There's a special area for the starting tiles. The score pad fits into this little area here. And then the player aids sit on top of there. Everything has been thought out so well. Like we've mentioned box design before, the pros and the cons. They've definitely thought this one through, and it's a big thumbs up. So we like that.
Yeah, thank you for good box.
Yes.
Of the oddity things that you say. So overall, I think Acropolis by Gigamic is a superb game. Even when you sit it next to games like Azul, Cascadia, Patchwork, you've still got a wonderful tile layout game.
Yep.
It does enough different that it stands up against those games really nicely, and it probably provides a little bit more think than I'd say Cascadia, but probably not Azul.
Okay, yeah.
That'll be well. Just from a gamer point of view, when I'm thinking about the game, it provides a bit more thought challenge than Cascadia, but probably on a par with Azul for that kind of strategy and tactics.
Yeah, when we first played it with new gamers that had experienced Cascadia, they said it felt like Cascadia in the playing, but they felt this was much easier to pick up.
Agreed.
So I think that's quite interesting. Yeah, so it's definitely one to add to the collection if you like small, fast, lightweight, beautifully made, beautiful artwork, just great tile laying games.
Yeah, for £25 to £30, which is roughly what this is going to retail for in the
Currently
UK.
on pre-order.
Currently on pre-order.
Definitely worth picking up.
You're going to get a lot of plays out of this game, so
Yes.
I think it's well worth your money. It's not overly expensive, and you're going to get a lot of plays. And Kirsty's just going to highlight one other thing.
Yes, I am. So the other thing to bear in mind as well is as you get used to the game and maybe you're thinking, oh, I wish they'd change it up a bit, there are different variants on the back of the player aid. These variants really change things up and you can choose to score multiples or focus on one. So there's lots of variability there with the game. So it's just worth, bearing in mind.
So if you like family weight, light, great games that offer a bit more think and are pacey, Acropolis is almost right up your street.
Definitely.
If you have enjoyed this video and you found it useful, please like and subscribe.
Don't forget, we're also on Instagram, Facebook and Twitter. Just search for Ludus Vulpes.
Thank you for your time today.
Thanks everyone. See you soon.
Bye.